Okay, then moving on here in Steiner. Last time we talked about the relationship between karma and free will, and how karma is kind of like building a house for yourself, and free will is all the stuff that you can do in that house. You can do whatever the hell you want, um, but it's going to affect your next house, let's say. In this lecture, which is a rather interesting one, Steiner talks about how our behavior in one lifetime will affect how we behave in the subsequent lifetime. And he first starts by saying that we get our higher functions, the etheric body, the astral body, and the ego, from the cosmos. We get the etheric body from the etheric realm. We get the astral body, which contains all of our, what the Hindus call sanskaras, all of our sort of karmic attributes, fears, phobias, idiosyncrasies, all those kinds of things come in through the astral body, and then the ego brings in the personality. But we get the physical body from the earth. It's a physical animal body that comes equipped with, of course, its own desires, passions, jealousies, territorialities, anger, and so forth. So we really do have a twofold origin. We have a heavenly origin and we have an earthly origin, and that's the task. That's what makes life so difficult to do. But he says now, when we are incarnate and we are loving to other people, um, a loving outlook toward other people, even though it may be difficult, Lord knows how difficult it is, it will manifest in our next lifetime as joy. We will have a naturally joyful disposition in the subsequent lifetime. If we have treated people with love before, in the next lifetime, we will have a genial, joyful, good disposition. So it matters how you treat people. It matters. It has karmic consequences into your next lifetime. So then he says, suffering comes from hatred in a previous lifetime. So if you have hated certain specific individuals thoroughly, and it's easy to do, we all do it, it will manifest itself in subsequent lifetimes as suffering, as various forms of suffering, including stupidity. He says that stupid people are people who have hated other people in past lifetimes, and also indifference. People who are just indifferent to the world. They walk through it with a phlegmatic disposition, easygoing maybe, but just kind of bored by the world. That is the result of hatred of previous human beings, specific human beings. So our disposition is determined by our behavior in previous lifetimes. So it's not easy and it's not a simple thing to just say, well, I loved everyone, so therefore I'm joyous, because we have karmic ties with everyone, karmic entanglements. Some people we're going to love, some people we're going to hate. That's just a fact. There's no way around that. And Steiner understands that. But he's talking about how in the Waldorf schools, with children especially, the children who are the ones that interact, who really despise each other and treat each other with hatred, are the children from previous lives who had karmic entanglements that were difficult and that involved hatred. But with spiritual science, with the ability to see into these children and find which one of them this particular child dislikes, or maybe this child is being bullied by another child, and to find those. For the teacher, the job should be to find out those children, find them, and find what relationship they had with each other, and what relationship they have now, and try to transform it into love. Because if the child can be taught to like another child that he or she innately dislikes, it will change the karmic relationships. And he says, because the thing of it is, we are all karmically interconnected as contemporaries. We reincarnate in groups, which I think is true. We reincarnate in groups, and we incarnate as contemporaries. All the contemporaries that are on the earth with us alive right now are people that we have had karmic entanglements with in past lives. Of course, the population has grown and keeps growing, but nonetheless, the karmic entanglements are there and have been there for a very, very long time. And he says this sort of funny anecdote. If I was to meet someone like Goethe, let's say, who was one of his heroes, who died in 1832 before Steiner could have met him, and he says, now, if I could meet one of these people who were not my contemporaries, I would feel sick. There would be something about it if I wanted to see Goethe, shake his hand, tip my hat to him. There would be something not right about it. There would be something that would give me like a stomach ache or an ulcer. Something wouldn't be right about it. And so this is his idea that we reincarnate together as groups and we shift roles around. So it's very important how we treat each other. How we treat each other matters in Rudolf Steiner's worldview, and I think he's correct. But it's not. It's an ideal. Obviously, we're human, and we have to live our lives and go through them, and they're terribly difficult. And we're going to have fights and entanglements with people, but it's better to choose love than hatred, because the outcome will be better for future lifetimes. And so that's basically the upshot of this wonderful little chapter on karmic relationships.